All right, everybody. The Metal Block Podcast coming back at you once again. Still doing it. You can't keep us out of the game, guys. We're going to keep coming back for more. So, talking metal, the great thing is we have new metal coming out all the time. So, we get new stuff to talk about. We're still doing the interview thing. Go check out the social medias. Brando, he's always got something going on, talking about what's happening, new stuff being posted. Always news in metal, right, Brando?
Here to irritate you and your newsfeed daily.
Yeah, right, just to pop up the metal block again. But we got another great show for you guys today, so thank you for joining us. If this is your first show, welcome. We're so glad to have you. Comment, tell us what you think. Give us some new metal to listen to. Make sure that we are saying the right stuff. We always like it when people come back and be like, actually, blah, 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 blah. And I know you may think that's annoying, but we learn from it, and that's kind of the point of all of this. So here we go, everybody. What is the interview today? Very excited. We've known about these guys for a while. They hail from Sacramento, California. A lot of great bands coming from Sacramento, California, and just California in general. I feel like it's Texas, California, Canada. It seems to be where a lot of the good stuff comes from. But these guys right here, are right there along with everybody else. The great bands. I've been getting a chance to check them out here lately. I'm so excited to have them on the show today. And I hope you guys are too. We're going to get started with them. Tonight, we have Wurm Flesh from Sacramento, California, here with us tonight. Just to hang, just to talk about some music, tell us what they're doing, how they do it on their side of the world. So, Mitch, Rob, why don't you guys introduce yourself, tell us what you do in the band, and, say hi.
I'm Rob Calhoun. I'm guitar and vocals.
My name's Mitchell Botter, and I play drums.
So glad to meet you guys. Glad to meet you guys. I know that you guys have put out some really, really wicked tunes here over the last few years. Good death metal. Me, coming from my foundation, thrash metal in the beginning, working my way. Actually, it's probably new metal. Then it went backwards to thrash metal. And then I worked myself back forward into some heavier stuff, if I'm really going to be completely honest. But death metal. Death metal is where I kind of landed, and out of all the styles that come up nowadays, I appreciate them. I love them all very much, but it always seems like whenever I get into some good death metal, technical death metal even, I love it. And so really excited to have you guys on the show.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having us.
You know what I think when it comes back to death metal, like even if you get into sort of those, new metal or whatever the metalcore stuff is, I think once those, sometimes some of those bands stick, but some of them fall off, and it was kind of like a weird wave. But I think at the end of the day, death metal has just always stayed consistent, so it's easy for people to come back to it once they're like, oh, I went from thrash metal to new metal, and death metal is where I landed, and I went thrash metal to death metal. That's the hard rock, thrash metal, death metal. And I never turned back.
Yeah, it's funny how it works out, and that's what's great is because we're going to get into this. We call them the origin stories, just to kind of play on, I guess, superheroes and stuff. I don't know. Is that why we do that, Brandon? I think so.
Why not?
Yeah, right?
How'd you get your musical powers?
Yeah, basically. But, it's always really fun to see, and I always talk about how everybody has all these, weird windy paths. But we're all right here, right now, tonight, talking about the same stuff together. And so it's really cool how that happens. And metal brings people together, I guess. I say it all the time on the show. The community, the people, the music, man. It unites people. It helps you. I saw a meme today, and it's a guy, or a reel, and it's a guy, and it's so you listen to all of this music, and it's playing heavy blast beats in the background to calm you down. And the guy's like, yes, and it's just, yeah, it's so true. So I'm going to turn it over to Brando. I'll quit rambling on, and I'll let him get started with some questions, and we'll start talking.
Oh, yeah.
What's up, guys? I'm Brutal Brando. I listen to guitars and vocals and drums, so that's what I do here. It's really great having you both on here. Thanks for joining us. Zoomy kind of touched on it, but why don't we start with you, Rob? Tell us about your metal origin story. Like, how did you get not necessarily just into playing metal, but like into metal? You know, let's go take it back to the old days.
Uh, AC/DC. My dad was the biggest AC/DC fan, and he had like their live at Donington on VHS. And my dad said about 3 years old, I learned how to work the VCR. And he said he'd just come home and I'd be constantly watching that. And he was in the action movies in the 80s, and they always used like metal and rock. And um, I was slowly getting subliminally attracted to metal. I think like Last Action Hero had a bunch of Megadeth in it and shit like that, and so like Angry Again was in there. And then we watched Ace Ventura because my dad was a big In Living Color guy, so Cannibal Corpse was the bar band
Oh
in
yeah.
that movie. And I think just subliminally, I was being bombarded with guitar-oriented music and extreme music in one form of another, and it was just, I don't know, kind of the natural progression. I didn't have like a cousin or anything that was like showed me Cannibal Corpse at a young age. I had to dig for it. Everyone else, the radio bands, like you hear Disturbed, maybe you know Godsmack, and then someone shows you Slipknot or something like that, and from there you discover Deicide shortly after, and you're like, how's that work? But that is what it is, and next thing you know, I don't know, you're just digging down this rabbit hole, and it's a fun dig.
All right, hang on. I gotta stop for a second because everything you just said.
I knew this was gonna happen when you said Last Action Hero.
Man, Last Action Hero
Just saying
soundtrack.
no.
The Last Action Hero soundtrack was the best soundtrack growing up, man. AC/DC Big Gun to this day is
Oh, yeah.
the best AC/DC song that's ever been made. Oh man, I can't even tell you how like I was about to fall out of my chair. You were talking about me the whole time, man.
And I believe that song kicks in as soon as he gets to the movie screen. And he falls in the back of the. I think he was like driving a topless, and he's putting out the TNT.
Yeah, he puts
with
it out with his finger. He just flicks out the fuse, man.
Yeah, he just flicks the way. Yeah. That's when that song kicks in.
Oh man, it's so brilliant. And then, like you said, Megadeth, which Megadeth was my ticket to thrash metal. That's where I hit Megadeth before I really went into any of the others. Like Metallica was always like a PG version for me, I guess. If I was to, and I'm not trying to dog on them. I love Metallica now, but back then they just weren't like Megadeth and Metallica. I was like, dude, give me Megadeth all day.
I'd have to say Megadeth, even though I heard them first without knowing I really heard them first, it was Metallica, then Slayer, and then from Slayer, the only thrash metal that I could really listen to was like Creator, Exodus. It had to be aggressive, It had which when I discovered Exodus, it was like around Tempo of the Damned, so that's when they were really kicking up the speed and aggression aspect of their music. But it basically, if it didn't feel murderous to me, I kind of didn't listen to it. Like I could never get into Overkill. It felt a little too cheesy, even though it was thrash metal. And I have a couple friends from New York who'd probably fucking kill me if I told them that Overkill is not on my top thrash list.
Yeah, how do you think Hobbs feels about you saying that?
Say what?
How do you think Hobbs feels about you saying that?
I don't know.
What about old school Sepultura back in the day? Did you ever dig them?
Oh yeah, dude. Actually, I remember the first CD I got from them. Someone gave me a best of from them, and dude, like just Beneath the Remains, Dead Embryonic Cells. Yeah,
Good stuff, man. Yeah, it takes me back. But anyway, I didn't like I said, I'll do this. I'll get us off on tangents. But that right there, man, woo, that was so much. Yeah. All right.
As soon as I heard Last Action Hero, I was like, here we go. All right.
it's gonna happen.
We've been down this road before.
Don't worry, Mitch has those stories about a lot of things. Like, oh God, you just mentioned this. Rob's about to talk forever.
Let him go.
That's awesome.
Love it. All right, Mitch, tell us your origin story.
I think, obviously, I think it was Pantera was the first initial Cemetery Gate here, Cemetery Gates, basically the whole Cowboys from Hell album. That I was like, oh shit, like this is it thing. And then like I kind of went through the grunge stuff too, like a lot of Alice in Chains, and you know, kind of wandered off and just knew I liked aggressive music. And then Ace Ventura, Cannibal singing,
Yeah.
And then that was that. And then I started playing in bands pretty young, started playing live when I was like 13, 14, somewhere around there. So I was around older guys who just showing me all sorts of cool stuff like Nile and all that. So it just took off from there. And I felt like I've always loved the really fast, extreme death metal since then. Not as animated as Rob's story, but you get it.
Well,
Nice.
yeah. Talking about Nile, though, I mean, being a drummer, heck yeah, man. I mean, that's some good drumming going on through all. Yeah, I mean, that's all. Like, whenever I think of Nile, I think first of drums. I mean, so
Even though the guitar work is fucking elite.
Oh,
like that.
yeah. I'm not taking away from anything else they do. You know what Nile was able to do year after year after year, I feel like, or maybe not year after year, but album after album, they were able to maintain a pretty good level of consistency from beginning to end. I do think they have some peaks and troughs, but they can't all be perfect, but they put out a lot. Even the last one that they put out, that was a pretty solid album, man. I really, really liked it. That was one we did on, we either did a review or we did a morning commute or something, but we talked about it, so...
Yeah, it's a great album, and they got great musicians on it now. Even the guys who have come and gone out of that band, they always keep a stacked lineup. Rob's artist is on there.
Me and Mitch, I think we joke all the time. There must be something in the water or the food those Greek drummers are consuming.
It's not even the drummers, dude. It's the Greek. It's like the Greek and the Italian musicians, like especially in the death metal world. It's like, Flesh God Apocalypse, Hour of Penance, and I get like they're all kind of mangled into one world.
It's a small area,
Oh yeah, dude. What Fulci, Kirez. Oh my God, there was another one recently.
Isn't Flesh God Apocalypse, or not Flesh God Apocalypse? I'm sorry. Oh my God, I'm trying to think. They're that symphonic.
Septic Flesh is Greek.
Septic Flesh, yeah.
Septic Flesh, right?
Yep.
Aren't they Greek as well?
Yep.
Yeah,
that's
they're from
right.
Greece, and then Flesh God's from Italy.
Yeah.
So
I was kind of blending the two, like between Italy and Greece. There's some monster technical death metal, and some amazing music.
Isn't
Hideous Divinity?
Hideous Divinity is from Italy too, right?
Italy, yeah.
Yeah.
Heavy hitters.
So, have you guys ever heard of like the blue zones, like the areas that people live longer? Like it'll be like it'll be areas in like Italy and Greece and places like that. So I don't know.
Because of the music.
Yeah, it's
death metal.
It's death metal and probably healthier living, but death
Probably
metal.
the food.
Yeah, probably the food,
Yeah.
probably the air, probably the water,
Probably the lifestyle.
but definitely the death metal.
Oh yeah, I can.
Yeah, it's the death metal makes it. Death metal adds like 20 years to your life,
Guaranteed.
except for those who die young.
Guaranteed.
Man. I feel like I'm falling apart after every time I play a set.
Yeah, man. So wait, are you guys like us? Are we all like in our 40s? Or Rob, you look like a youngin', man.
Oh God, dude, I am. Hold on, I'm 36. I'm about to be 37 in August.
That's young. That's young compared to me, man.
Yeah, I'm 36. I just look old. So.
You say you're 36, Mitch?
Yeah.
Mitch, you look like the Undertaker, man. You look like you could go take somebody out in the ring, bro. He said, "I can."
So Mitch was the first one to gray in the band, but then again, it wasn't known that I was graying until I started growing my hair back out.
Yeah.
I'm still not as gray as Mitch, but yeah, definitely Mitch salt and peppered
Oh,
before.
young. I was like 27 or something like that. And I just started rocking it. I didn't give it, it's like whatever. It doesn't bother me.
Hell yeah, man. Why not?
Yeah. And the skunk wings.
Yeah, you got,
That's funny. Mine's just life, man. I mean, that's what mine comes from. Just
Started
living.
taking mine off so I didn't have to see it.
Mine's all random throughout my hair. You can tell where it's just like it's some gray. It's some of I have some blonde streaks in there and shit, and they're all graying and whatnot. I blame my
it's
kids.
good though.
Oh man, that's good stuff. That's awesome. Well,
I blame the children.
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It's all that stuff, right? It's
Yeah.
is it A, B, C, or D? All of the above. It's D, all of the above. That's what it is.
Bro, I live with all females. My wife, my 3 daughters, my dog is a female, my cat's a female. I'm hoping my tarantula is a female because they live longer. They'll live 12, 15 years if they're female versus 4 to 5
See, man,
if they're male.
you're just gonna be able to. You're like the key. You're like the missing link for all the men. If they have questions, they're like, I don't really know, and you just know because you're in it. You're in it.
That's why I need this band, dude. I need the boy time
Yeah.
for sure.
I totally get it. Yeah. What is I'm always like, I need time to go hang with the guys. Even if it's just a little bit every now and then. We're not even getting into any trouble anymore. I mean, we're about as lame as can be.
Oh, we're playing
Hour and a
guitar
half,
talking
2
about
hours in
farts.
that, dude. Hour and a half, 2 hours in that studio, just grinding through guitar and death metal. Man, it's therapy time and boy time enough. So,
Dude, I feel you there. That's what so I know you guys are from Sacramento, so you're probably familiar with this. The traffic here in Houston, being able to just turn on some death metal and then get home in traffic, it makes it better. It's just me, it's like it's my moment. That's my hour and 15 minutes of me time where I get to do whatever I want. No one's bitching about what I'm listening to, and
Yeah,
it's
dude.
nice.
Traffic, I always put on Meshuggah. I don't know why. It's any Meshuggah album. I just put it on and go, oh, we're fine. It's fine.
it's fine.
Yeah,
It's
fine.
I'm like that with
Yeah,
Misery Index.
I just
Yeah, Misery Index is dope.
I just slap on any one of the 8 Fetus albums that I own. It's just Dying Fetus is like my dude. It's like I still got to give Cannibal Corpse and like Deicide like kind of my number 1-ish 2 slots because they're like the first death metal that I discovered, so they kind of hold some special places. But if you go through my closet and you were to look at the merchandise I own, it's like Cannibal Corpse, Nile, and Dying Fetus tie for like first place in terms of albums, T-shirts, and some various other things. I got like a Cannibal Corpse book and some other merchandise, but those 3 bands tie for like the most merchandise I own.
So let's.
Here we go. Get ready.
Yeah.
You said Dying Fetus. Get ready.
Dying Fetus. Yeah, I love me some Dying Fetus too. So here's the thing though, is whenever I was listening to you guys, making sure that I was good and familiar and ready to talk about today, that is one of the biggest influences I pulled from the music that I hear. And I mean, a lot of it, and Mitch, this is coming from the drums too, brother, because it's like the dun, 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 I mean, just those kind of hits right there. I don't know. I love the recipe that you guys got, and Dying Fetus was one of the influences I could pull out of it. And Dying Fetus is one of my absolute all-time faves. So it was really easy for me to listen to it again. You know what I mean? Like to listen through the EP that you guys put out in 2024, and I'm probably gonna mess up that name again because it's like. You guys, like, this is what metal does. Metal, like, tests your intelligence, right? And then I get up here on a podcast and I start trying to talk about it, and then people are like, well, actually, this is how you say it. And I'm like, my bad. But,
yeah, you can thank Rob for those. Rob always comes up with these fucking names. I'm like, cool, that's fine,
It's like, I don't care. Are the rich cool?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the scientific term for tickle my balls with Q-tip.
Yeah, it's always hidden messages, right? It's like the '60s. So.
I like to make sure the song names are at least cool. I'm not gonna come in with like Rainbow's Demise. Like I'm gonna make sure the names are cool. Sometimes, a lot of times, I was like they could be deep meaning or so Joe just wrote a song, and I gave him the really good like deep meaning name, and I gave my song that I wrote like just the caveman name.
Right. So here's what's funny. We like, do you guys come up with song nicknames like before you've really named it but it's like there's a nickname for it. So Brando, he writes some good guitar riffs and he's like, "Hey Zoomy, play some bass to this." And he's got this one that I told him is, I call it Chainsaw Serenade. And it, that's not what it is. Just the first time I heard him play it, it sounded like a chainsaw to me. And so I was like, "Oh, no, play Chainsaw Serenade, play Chainsaw Serenade." You know, and so it's like, that's not even like the name of the song. But now whenever I'm like, "Well, which one are we talking about?" He's like, "Chainsaw Serenade." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." So I don't know. Do you guys have nicknames?
I feel like we usually don't have a nickname for the songs, but usually there's, what would you say, Mitch? Like we have riffs that stick out that we kind of nickname the riff, like the X riff song.
Yeah. It'll be like just play Rob's new one, play Joe's new one, that kind of thing. Like until we have a name, and then I don't even pay attention past that. I just write the music, let them write all that stuff. You know.
Yeah.
I come up with names pretty quick. I'm weird about that. Like I can have a name in a couple after we've really start structuring something. I can have a name. I can have a name after 3-ish times, but if we don't have a name for it yet, we'll refer to songs by like a riff style. Sometimes we give our songs like, this riff is reminiscent to something we heard from Suffocation, so we'll like play the Suffo riff song, or I don't know. Um, this one sounds like it. This one sounds like kind of a Hate Eternal riff. Play that song we wrote that has like the Hate Eternal sounding riff in it.
Yeah, I like this. This is great. This is like the codes that bands, you know, like learn to talk and speak together in. And we're not even talking on stage yet, right? There's a whole nother language on stage.
The language on stage is just play the next song, Rob.
Yeah. Language is probably like, "Fuck, god damn it, shit."
No, here we go.
I've actually, believe it or not, though, I have learned, because I'm not just, I got a guitar as well, that I really don't have to do all the same antics as like a dedicated front man. I could literally just turn around, ask everyone if they got water really quick, if they're good, play the sample, maybe introduce 2 or 3 songs by their names. Beyond that, just go, as long as everyone's like, you know, I'm just looking around like, "Hold on, man, let me get some water real quick." And then it's like, all right, I'm playing the sample and then we're going, you know, as long as everyone has kind of given me that nod that, you know, I'm ready.
Well, I always feel like I want to play as many songs as we can, but I also want to make sure everybody's ready to play them, right? But it's still like, okay, we don't need to talk for 30 seconds in between songs. You know,
Yeah.
say thanks, that sort of thing. And, you know.
We don't need to have a bunch of ironic shenanigans on stage. I do think as the front, you know, someone who is the vocals, you know, you should do the quintessential when you're on a bigger bill, shout out the touring package bands, and think beyond that, you know, not everything has to be a comedic stand-up thing in between. Just, you know,
Yeah.
yeah. But like you said, we have so many. Our songs are only like 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes. If we don't talk and everyone at least feels good with water, we could pack a lot of songs into our 25, 30-minute set that they're giving us.
How many songs you guys have?
Oh, fuck.
A lot.
Because like you guys have the album from 2018, right?
Yeah.
And then the only thing I use Apple Music. The only other thing I saw was the 3-song EP from last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that doesn't include probably the 3 to 4 songs that we've written. That are gonna fill up the album. So
Sure.
we have, I don't know, we probably have 20 songs.
Yeah.
Nice.
Like
that we're gonna ever.
We could play an hour.
Yeah, like that we're ever gonna play live, probably 20. But then we've scrapped. You know, we've been a band for 10 years, so it's like we've written and scrapped 20 songs also, you know.
Oh, I believe it. Yeah, for sure.
Or like abandoned stuff and like, it was cool when we wrote it, but then it's not as cool.
It's like, don't. This is not to talk down on Slam, but it's like one of those things to where if you want memorable songs or people, anybody can kind of pick them apart. It is one of those things where you gotta take your time. And this is us. We could probably write faster, but when you force that, I don't think we get the best material. If we've written some really dope songs that are our favorites and probably that we play on our set list that were like me and Mitch wrote in like 40, 50 minutes. And then there's some that took us a month or two to write. And, it's.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that. There's, I always say like, there's no need to rush it. I mean, you're doing art, and you've got a, I'm going to call it a vision, even though it's a sound, like in your head that, sometimes it's hard to, I mean, I've done that. I've come across where I have a riff that I like a ton and I just like get stuck on that riff for like 2 months. And then all of a sudden there will be like a week where I come out with the rest of the song. And I'm like, man, I had that one riff for like 8 weeks and couldn't come up with nothing to go with it. And then all of a sudden it all comes together. But if you rush it, you end up with shit you don't like. And then, like you said, you have 20 songs that you've probably scrapped over the years, that there's probably some riffs in there that I bet you can dig them back out. And maybe they, find
They're in there. Mitch has the best ears for Golden Nugget riffs.
Yeah, I'll hold on to them. I play a little bit of guitar myself, but not as, I'm not that good. But so it's like I can kind of understand where he's going and stuff. But Rob will write some sick shit, and then like we'll try to, like you were saying, like you end up trying to force and mold something together, and it's like just hold on to that riff, just hold it, like we'll come back to it.
Yeah.
Get the other guys' input, get get Joe and Bo's input on it, and see what happens. But I do normally end up kind of producing the songs like as we go. Like I kind of have a thing, like I like that there. We're gonna cut it right there. You shut up. We're not playing it 12 times. We're playing it 5 times.
That's the best way to put it. I feel like Mitch does produce the songs. I mean, because what'll happen is I'll have a handful of riffs and we'll get them together. And what'll happen is I'll hit a wall. It's like, dude, I don't know where to go next. I still have some riffs in my pockets, but where do we go next? And I think one of the best ways we've discovered how to move forward with the song is we've played everything up to where we like it, and I just say, play next. Like, just play something from like what feels good drum wise. I'm like, oh, okay, Mitch wants to do like a bomb blast or whatever. I'm so sorry, I'm gonna butcher your blasting techniques, dude. But Mitch might do a slower blast after a part where we're really shredding. And so I'm like, oh, cool. I have a slew of riffs that fit that kind of cadence. Or Mitch will go from a driving groove, and Mitch will just, from there, a little fill, and then just driving blast beat. I'm like, cool. That means we need to shred or do something techie here. And it's just because that's what's natural for Mitch to do. That means the song will feel natural with whatever riffs we put there. That way it's not so much like, I don't know, trying to shove a couple puzzle pieces together that don't fit. Just Mitch helps paint the picture, or I don't know, paint the path for where we should go for what feels good next after what we have.
Yeah.
Love it. So it sounds like you guys do a creative process together then, like in person with your instruments. Like,
Yeah.
That's cool. You hear a lot about people like writing it, and then just kind of just sending files to each other and directing each other one way or another. And it's like, it's cool that these ideas are coming together.
You know what? You know why I don't like writing whole songs by myself anymore? Oh, I'm sorry, Mitch.
That's just one of the reasons it does take longer to write songs, though, because it's like, okay, we got to remember that for next week when we all meet up again, kind of thing. It's like, and then one of us doesn't remember, and then we're playing it a little different than we were. So I do agree with the writing it out, but I do feel like it's important to play it and write it together, first to feel it all out, get it So everyone's like, yeah, that was fucking dope, you know.
For sure.
You know.
I always think it's good having having riffs that can blend in and out, but having a lot of, you don't want to write a whole song and be so married to it, and then people pick it like, I worked really hard writing this whole song. You're like, well, I think this would sound cooler here. That's why I think it's a good idea to have a bunch of riffs that can fit together, and then see how it organically pieces together. Like, how many times do we want to play the riff? Maybe that riff should, maybe in a bar of 10, maybe in a piece of music where there's 10 bars, maybe bar 4 through 8 really should be 8 and 10 or 8 through 12. And then that way, what they call demo ears, where you've listened to something for so long that you just get married to it and it's not even really the best of what it can be.
So
I don't want
you're used to hearing it.
Yeah, it's like you're right.
It works that way, like with so many things. Like whenever you're just like doing it over and over and over again, you start to like lose sight of where you're going almost. And I'll even say it with, there were times Brandon and I used to work together a long time ago, but we would do construction work like tile jobs and whatnot. And I remember one time like tiling this bathroom, and it was like all white subway tile, and the next day we'd come back in to do the grouting, and there was like one gray tile that we like put up, and it was like in the mix. We had to like chisel it off and put it back, an actual white one on, but we like didn't even notice, it looked white. It looked like another white tile because we'd been just staring at white tiles all day. So that's probably the best analogy that I have, but it happens at work whenever I'm dealing with spreadsheets. It happens with music whenever I'm writing. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, Mitch has also pointed out, he's like, just when we started Wurm Flesh, I obviously had a handful of songs fully written. And Mitch is like, I could hear the difference between what we wrote together versus what you wrote 100% on your own. He's like, not that it's bad, but it's just like, you could tell you wrote that on your own. There was no, it just, and some of them are still my favorite songs, but still, there is something about having that input. Like, I think we should go here, and we just like all kinds of elements, man. Like speed. First off, we love speed. We like going fast. I think that's like the key element that we want to try to keep in everything we do is some element of being fast. But secondly, man, we love everything from the tech death, to slam, where me and Mitch meet in the middle for a lot of bands, and we have some outliers. Like we joke about the Slayer Pantera argument all the time when it comes to our like, Pantera was a better songwriter, or Pantera wrote better songs. I was like, yeah, but I love Slayer more, and I'm the guitarist, so you're playing Slayer influenced music.
Little does he know, he just writes a lot of riffs that sound like Pantera riffs in fucking a different tuning. I pointed out all the time, he wrote a riff that sounded exactly like Cowboys from Hell. I started playing Cowboys from Hell.
What song is that?
Pantera riff, dude.
I know. What song is that though? Is that not teratogenic?
It's
Tombs,
the break in Viral. Yeah, it's like the bridge in Viral.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so funny.
Nice. I'm gonna listen for that next time I go through it.
Yeah,
that's funny.
It's like a triplet sounding kind of. It's just a break in the middle.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So hey, is there a tempo that you guys like feel most comfortable at, that you end up you find yourselves kind of writing at a specific tempo often, or is it just sort of like random?
What feels good?
Yeah, I mean,
we
as a drummer, I'm really comfortable naturally in the 260, 275 range, in between there. Like that's where I thrive. That's that's where I want to play. But if the song doesn't call for that, then the song doesn't call for that, So it's like, we might drop it 100 BPMs, like it might drop a lot, or at least feel that way,
Yeah.
with half timing.
I'm a firm believer in practicing to a metronome, but not writing to one. Like because I don't know, like you don't want to be in this position where you feel like you're always writing to a metronome. Kind of like music theory. I'm gonna be the first to say I don't know a lot of music theory, but I feel like it's a good tool. But I know a lot of people get stuck with it as well because like they're in their brain like there's all these rules to music and this breaks all these rules, and it's like it's cool to use it as like a I don't know a roadmap here and there, but like I don't know to tempos. It's like once we write a riff, usually Mitch eventually says, "I think this is 250. Let me put a metronome on," and we're like, "Oh no, that was like 280."
Yeah.
And sometimes we surprise ourselves. What is the most surprising tempo that you thought was slower but ended up being crazy, Mitch? Like, what song was that?
It was on
There's probably
the newest EP. I can think of
didn't we have something in the threes?
Yeah, I mean, it clicked out to a 3, but it's not really. It's like that's not what I'm thinking of. The intro to Defenestration, the intro.
Yeah.
Like, holy shit, that's that. It was like I was thinking, because I've been playing it for so long, it just kind of flows naturally, and it's just like like okay, I guess. It ended up being like 285 or something like that. Like God. Okay. All right.
Do you ever, hey, Mitch, times we've like got off stage like, man, I felt like we played that slow, and then we watched video footage and stupid fast. It's like, man, like, did we go slow in that one? Did we go slow on that riff in that one song? Or like, I don't know, maybe. And then we watch it back on video. It's like, holy fuck,
Nope.
we blistered through that part.
We just blew through that whole song.
It's funny how your perception can change, just like playing something that that you think is really fast, and you play something faster and you go back, you're like, wow, okay, so that's like a lot slower than I thought it was, but it's really not. You go watch a video, you're like, I thought it was slow, but like it's that's not bad.
Yeah.
It's gotta be the adrenaline, dude, because like we'll be up there playing some songs. I'm like, oh, we're really not playing. We're playing this slow. Like it feels. Then I'm like, holy shit, that's like 10, 15 beats faster than the fucking like the album. Holy shit, that's gotta be the adrenaline. It's just gotta.
So
And that's how we.
do you guys always play with like a click on your shows and stuff?
But nope.
No.
To each other. But I do. I have a in-ear monitor system that gives me Mitch's snare, and his mic is hot enough to pick up his hi-hat and the next couple drums, and I have my guitar tone, but it also allows me to safely mix in ambient noise so I can hear the room, and that way I don't get hearing fatigue when doing vocals. And it's allowed me to really kind of be pretty autopilot for a lot of shows, and autopilot in a good way, to where I'm not like staring at my instrument, which I've gotten comfortable. That took a little bit of time of getting back into it over the last 2 years, is how to not feel like I can't move because I have to focus on playing and doing vocals. Like I've gotten more comfortable with it over the last 2 years.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's so difficult to do, but I see what you probably you're hearing those parts like on his drums, and you know where you need to be on certain parts, and so
Yeah.
it's easy to like find out what it takes to get there. And so I've felt those. It's almost like when you're in the groove, and you're like, okay, yeah, I know right where we're at. Everything's going good, but you're comfortable. The game's not moving too fast for you. As a matter of fact, like you said, your adrenaline is helping you in a way, right? Because you're playing it crazier than you've ever played it, and you don't even know how you remember, Brandon, like we'd get on stage sometimes and Braxton would count it in like freaking fast, man, and we'd be like, oh shit. Like, here we go, man. We're playing this sucker supersonic speed today.
Braxton, we were supposed to fill 20 minutes, dude. We're out here in 12.
Yeah, it's supposed to be a 20-minute set, Braxton.
What's that joke? Went to a grindcore show. It was over, and I was late to a grindcore show. First four bands played.
Yeah, it's something like that. By the time you got there, it was over.
Yeah.
But because of in ear, and dude, Mitch's hi hat and his snare are because we switch between tempos and rhythms. His kicks are following one way, and then sometimes they're drilling. For some reason, that's his snare and his hi hat are like, to me, that's like listening to a metronome for whatever reason. I can hear the hi hats in between the snare beats, and to be honest, that's a better thing for me to listen to than his kicks. And when we hear the video, but his kicks are blaring, they're doing what they're doing. Sometimes he does triplets, but Mitch is a really creative. Like, I don't know if Mitch hears this stuff, but he's a very artsy player. As much as he's drilling, he's very artsy about it. He's not like those bands that's like oh god, there's some grindcore bands where that's like and then maybe the kicks like double time.
Yeah.
Snare hat, snare hat, snare hat, snare hat, snare hat.
It's being rhythmic. Like, you just got to be rhythmic. My job is to be rhythmic, and it's to be. And I'm supposed to be making this shit as aggressive as possible. So that's how I look at it.
That's why I think I'm glad out of the entire band, you probably have the most you like Meshuggah, you like other bands that have more progression in their drums, and to be honest, I think that makes you a more well-rounded player for what we do. I mean, I wish I could say I was super super well-rounded. My idea of being well-rounded is like I like Meatloaf. But there's nothing about that music I would ever incorporate into my own playing. But Mitch is like, like I think you like Between the Buried and Me too, don't you? Yeah, he likes the Red Chord, Between the Buried and Me, and Meshuggah. And those are bands that have some crazy, like that's some thinking behind. And Tool, that's a lot of thinking behind those drums. God, fucking Mitch is like, oh man, I feel so bad when I write riffs that feel good. And Mitch is like, what timing is that? I don't know, man. It just feels good.
Signature, and he just it's in 4. I'm like, no, dude, that's not even. It's like 9. 9.
Drummers coming up with these weird time signatures.
No, dude. I'm the one who comes
it's
to
you!
the table.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's Mitch, it's Rob.
I'm the one who
he's
comes to the
he just
table.
writes what feels good, man.
Mitch is. I'm like, dude, this feels good. And Mitch is like, what is that? I was like, I don't know. It just feels good. Let's figure it out.
It's a riff, Mitch. Do something.
Yeah.
But Mitch is educated enough about the drums and the time signatures that he can figure it out.
Yeah, sometimes you got to do that.
So Mitch, like you can kind of put it together, and you're like, okay, we're playing this in this time signature. And so you can kind of communicate that back, or like Rob, are you saying like you don't even care, right?
I would love to care, but it's just like I'm too busy writing riffs.
I'm too busy cranking out riffs, baby.
No,
it's more for me. It's actually more for me. I have to do it for myself because he doesn't know what time signature he's writing. I
don't know. I'm a caveman.
So he's writing this, and what I remember now. What I was saying is some of those riffs where it sounds crazy, like I'm sitting there trying to count out this time signature. It ends up making the song. Just like that riff is like it makes the song, gives it the balls it needed. So it's like I get off, do your thing, make it work.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Well, Rob, you mentioned that you're actually going to have to leave here in a few minutes. So I'm going to do something now that we usually do kind of closer to the end, but it's fun. I think it's fun. And I've missed people before waiting until the end and they had to jump off early. So that's the reason why we're going to go ahead and fast forward right now and do this. But these are my 5 questions that they're just like little popcorn questions that I asked just to get you to know you guys just a little bit better, so everybody else out there can as well. And they're usually fun. They usually spark a little bit of conversation, a few laughs, and I'm hoping they do today too. They're different every episode, so it's not like it's not like you can watch the last one and know. It's not like David Letterman's top 10 every week. So here we go. Who wants to go first? Same questions.
Mitch goes first.
Okay.
All right, Mitch. Here we go. Pizza rolls.
Legal age of consent.
Yeah.
From
Pizza rolls or bagel bites?
Bagel bites.
That's a good answer. Favorite form of music media? CD, cassette.
CD.
If you had a time machine, when would you go?
2004. Save dime bag.
That's
Nice.
brilliant. I've never heard an answer that great, man. And I haven't asked that exact question, like I said, but that couldn't have been better.
good.
That's tough, Rob.
That's a good
Beat
one.
that, Rob.
That's close to my heart. Good
Yeah,
job,
me
Mitch.
too, me too.
my answer would be a lot more selfish. I'm
Okay.
not gonna lie.
All right, so, Mitch, what is your WWE entrance song?
Oh, Stone Cold. You mean?
Like, if you had to pick one for you.
Oh, probably something off of Origins self-titled album, something off of that. I don't know.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
And also, the fact that you said Stone Cold first is still a good answer because Texas Rattlesnake. Man,
Let's go,
it's great
brother.
stuff. Yeah, man. All right, if you were a brand, BRAND, what would your slogan be?
Hell yeah, brother.
This is great, man. Those are so good, Mitch. Good job. Rob, are you ready?
All right,
Pizza
I'm
rolls
ready.
or bagel bites?
it is bagel bites.
I agree. Brandon, where are you at on this?
Pizza rolls.
You go the pizza rolls. Oh man, I'm bagel.
the bagel
Yeah,
bites.
I'm bagel bites
Seen those,
all,
dog.
They're
all
both
day.
good. Yeah, both
I mean,
great.
they are. They're great. I just think I burn my mouth more on the pizza rolls, and so
Yeah, it's
That's all I'm thinking
That's
about.
the fun part.
Yeah,
the fun part. All right, favorite form of music: CD, cassette.
I have to say CD it's just my generation. I grew up with cassettes, and cassettes seemed dated by the time CDs came out, so CD.
CDs.
Just
man.
so you guys know, vinyl and MP3 and streaming were also acceptable answers.
You know what?
We're not snobs.
I'm so with you guys though. Like, I mean, I love vinyl. I love CDs. Not
I'm
as
an 8-track guy myself. You know.
I mean,
I'm
not as much the cassettes for me, but I do still see one every now and then, and I'm like, oh, let me grab that cassette, you know? So if it's cool, I'll definitely get it.
So streaming, don't get me wrong, I understand it's like a necessary evil these days, but it's also made fans entitled. Just like, it's where like, oh, this thing you worked really hard on and maybe fought with your wife and your bandmates to produce, I should just be able to get it for free.
Yeah.
So streaming, it's kind of like, I wish we all just went back to buying media. I kind of
Yeah.
wish
Remember
streaming
when you
would
used
go
to
away.
have to go look for it, you know? Like,
Remember when you actually had to work a job and then make money, and it's called it's called a sweat tax.
So
You just have
Brandon-
to sweat to buy music.
Brandon wouldn't eat lunch, and he'd save his lunch money. All right, Rob, we got a couple more, and then I know you got to go. If you had a time machine, when would you go?
I would go back to 1989 and New York, and I would start a death metal band with the riffs and knowledge of the music I know today.
Yes.
Yes,
That's a good
it's like
answer.
going back, knowing what I know now. Everybody wants that,
Knowing
man.
what I know now, back to 89, same age, and I'd be the purveyor of 7-string guitar. Like, what? 7-string guitar, death metal? I thought Trey Azototh was the
Baby,
only one.
baby, throwing eggs at you on stage. Get the fuck out of
That's
here.
real.
Who is this guy? Yeah, no kidding. He's not even tuned to eat.
Yeah, what the fuck?
What do you mean? What do you mean blast beat at 260 BPM, bro? Like, dude, I can only imagine
The fuck is a trigger,
I'd
dude?
expect drummers in '89.
No kidding, triggers, man. It's like,
the fuck is a trigger?
Actually, there was a whole interview that came out. Like most of your classic death metal albums that you listened to were actually triggered. And Scott Burns talked about how they program all those notes in because those guys were coming in and couldn't really do it in the studio live because the adrenaline was different. But yeah, a lot of that kick drum tone you hear is a triggered sound. So even on classic death metal albums, that's a triggered tone.
I remember going to the early 2000s, Gathering of the Sick, and listening to about 100 bands set up their triggers, man. It was all just triggers. But I liked them, and they were cool. I mean, I had no problem with that.
Yeah.
All right, Rob.
It fits the music.
What is your WWE entrance music?
This is the war, Vader.
This is the war, Vader. You didn't say Vader earlier.
I still love Vader. That's the sickest intro. Especially if you get that piano synth section in.
Heck yeah, man! You've got time. You walk as slow as you want. Last question.
These are my walking glasses.
There you go. Yes. If you were a brand, what would your slogan be?
I actually own a brand in constructing monoliths of destruction.
Constructing monoliths of destruction.
Yes.
How do you construct destruction?
Oh man!
By building or by destroying?
All right, you build speaker cabs that musicians use that destroy the audience's faces with their.
So that, man, I hate it that you have to go because I would love to talk more about your cabs and everything. So,
do you see this space right here, Rob?
Yeah,
it could use a cabinet. You know what I mean?
I'd say why don't we set up something for the future, man? Because as much as Arachnid is still part of me and everything, it's like if we're doing Wurm Flesh stuff, I like definitely making sure we're on Wurm Flesh topics. So, but dude, let's maybe set up something in the future.
Heck yeah! Well, just so you know, I am gonna go ahead and tag some Arachnid Cabinet stuff down in the comments, and just so that if people are reading through everything, they can go check it out, because I like them to not just get to know the band, but I like them to get to know the people behind the band. So.
But the reason I have to sadly cut out early is because I'm actually hanging out with Eddie Kernan, basically Gary Kaler's right-hand man here at the Kaler shop, and I'm here in Las Vegas for the Las Vegas Guitar Trade Show. So
awesome,
man! I'm just trying to juggle everything.
Heck yeah, man!
That's awesome.
We're so grateful for you just taking a few minutes to hang with us, man. It looks like you're having a kick-ass time, and I'm jealous. So. You guys.
Yes, we gotta go to the Guitar Legend.
Yes, I gotta go meet a guitar.
That's
legend.
right. Well, go meet him up, man, and keep putting out some great rock and music, and we can't wait to hear what you guys got to play, bro.
Thanks for having us, man. Really, this was a great.
Yeah, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, we'd love to have you some more. So we'll stay in touch. If there's anything we can do, let us know.
Yeah, absolutely. Love you, Mitchy Boo. I'm out of here.
See you, Rob.
Bye, Mitch, if you're down to hang out for a little bit, we got a couple more questions for you about Wurm Flesh.
Yeah, I'm here, man.
So you guys mentioned that there are a few more songs recorded for an album. So you guys have an album that's going to be coming up soon?
Yeah, we're hoping to. We were kind of doing that thing where we were forcing stuff a little bit there, and we all kind of had the conversation of like, hey, we're playing a lot. We're got a bunch of shit booked. Like, let's slow down on the shows and let's write some music, kind of thing. And so we've been doing that, and we've been just hitting the studio hard. And I work with both the guitar players as they're writing their stuff, and hopefully it all works. And then we all come together and add and subtract kind of thing. And so yeah, I think we'll probably have a 10-track album out by the end of the year. Hopefully by the end of the year,
Awesome. And is that on Comatose?
That is on that'll be on Comatose, yeah.
Comatose, okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I was also going to ask, what kind of so you're focused on recording right now. Are you guys recording in a studio, or are you doing this at home yourselves? Like, what's your technique here?
We're doing a lot of pre-pro. Everything is going through our DAWs and everything first, and then we're kind of seeing what we can come up with. We work with a great guy named Bob here in Sacramento from Mayhemness Studio. So when I go in and I track with him, and he's the best in Sac, in my opinion, for if you want solid death metal shit, like he's the guy. And we're just working through stuff, and then chip away at it, and then I'll when I feel like I'm ready, I'll go in there and knock out all the tracks. So.
Oh yeah. All right. So do you do drums last?
No, we write everything together, and then I go play the drums in the studio, and we'll have scratch tracks, and then those guys will come through and do their pro tracks.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. Very cool.
I remember doing a bunch of scratch track recordings back in the day, man. Just the guitarist up there just playing it enough so the drummer can do his thing, and then the guitar. I remember, Brandon, there were a few times like you would be like, damn it, how do I play the scratch track perfect, and I can't get my other ones to work, and I'd be sitting there struggling with the bass, going through it, looking at you, shaking my head, being like, I don't know, man. I just don't know. I don't even know how to play any of her songs.
I think it's the pressure. It's just the pressure. You're under that microscope,
Man, it's the time and the money too, and you don't want to waste anybody's time, and you want to be the one who can go in there and knock out all this stuff and it just go perfectly, and everybody's like, way to go, man, and it never happens.
It's not how that works.
Dude, I can't even sit right here with my phone and record a video. Like, I will practice some shit and nail it, and then I'm like, okay, it's time for a quick video so I can show it to somebody else in the world. And then I'm 30 minutes later, I'm like, fuck this shit. I'm gonna do this tomorrow.
I joke around whenever I'll send them a video sometimes and be like, okay, take 173, because literally I've been standing up. I would have my son for a while do the recordings for me. And I'd be like, stand there and record it. And then I'd be like, no, stop. No, delete that one. That one's no good. Record again. Is it recording? Okay, here I go. Oh, crap. Stop it. Let's do it again. Turn it off. And then he's going oh my gosh, I'm going to be here all night.
Yeah.
What did I do to deserve this?
Yeah, why are you torturing me, Dad? And I remember, I see it in his eyes, and I'm like, I'm not going to do this to my son.
Oh, yeah.
You can see the phone number for social services flashing.
Yeah, right. I tell them, call them. They'll take away your Xbox.
Yeah.
This is brutal, Dad.
Oh, too funny.
Mitch, so you said you guys were taking a little break from shows for a little while. Are you back on booking shows and stuff? Do you guys have anything coming up?
Yeah, we've got a couple of big ones coming up. We're opening for Inferi and Demon King here in Sacramento in
Rags to Riffage.
Yeah, it's a great lineup, man. So we decided to, we'll do that. And,
oh yeah,
yeah, it's a great one. And then we're playing Slam Dakota, and
oh nice.
Yeah, so that's cool. Hideous Divinity was actually supposed to headline, but they had to drop off. But they got Visceral Disgorge to headline.
Oh, okay.
So it should be cool. That I've never been to South Dakota before, and I'm assuming it's fun.
I've heard some good things about Slam Dakota.
Yeah, me too.
And I've been seeing them posting all the bands that are going to be there's a lot of cool bands that are on that bill, and I remember when they announced Hideous Divinity, I wondered, did they pull off because of visa issues? I've heard
that's what I was going to say.
It was visa issues. Yes.
Yep. That's what I had read, and I was going to throw that in there. And I was like, golly, man, that would have been so cool. It was going to be their first time to the United States, if I'm not mistaken.
Fucking sick.
No, they've been here.
Oh, okay.
I saw them in 2018 with Cryptopsy.
And aborted, yeah.
That's right.
The drummer tour, the sick drummer tour.
Yeah. That shit was sick, man. That was crazy.
I forgot about that one, Brandon.
That shit was dope.
Yeah, they've been here before.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool, man. Slam Dakota, and then you're playing the Rags to the Riffage. You guys have anything else lined up?
And then we're going to Hawaii to play a festival out there. Forgive me, I can't remember the name of it. But that's in October, and that's Origins headlining that one. We always love to play with those guys, so
dude,
you know what I mean?
Awesome.
Yeah.
Which island?
It's Big Island, yeah. So
Big Island.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
is That's not the Hilo or Hilo Fest or something like that. I saw a flyer for it recently.
Yeah, there's one
There's
floating
one thing over there.
around. Yeah, there's one floating around. We got the opportunity because, Rob's cabinet company.
Yeah.
But yeah. Other than that, I mean, we were just like, yeah, let's go to fucking Hawaii for a week or so and hang out, and we'll play some shows. You
Yeah,
know?
that's cool. I can't imagine there's a whole lot of metal activity out there. So I'm
No,
sure when
yeah,
something does pop off, I'm sure it's big, like that's probably pretty cool.
yeah, and there's some pretty cool underground bands that are going to be out there too. It just there's so many though because I think it's a 3-day festival. It's like cool. Like,
Oh man, I bet a bunch of people will travel for that. I kind of want to
yeah,
go
it's
now.
fucking yeah.
Dang.
Kind of excited for that one.
Do you need someone to carry some drums for you?
Actually, that's one of those ones where I'm just going to be carrying pedals and snare.
Oh yeah, they'll have a set there for you, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That's always
Is it
nice.
So,
is it the volcanic strike?
I think that's it. I think.
Yeah, because that's a
Yeah.
3-day event.
okay.
It looks
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, I think
and it says October. Yeah,
yeah,
October
that's
3rd
it.
to
That's
the
got to
5th.
be it. Yeah, that's got to be it. Good job, bud.
thank you, Google.
Yeah, thanks, Google.
So true,
That's
so
awesome.
true.
So hey, what kind of drum kit do you have?
It's nothing special. I like it. It's mine. It's a PDP. Shit. I'm blanking on the series. Import or something like that. I've had it for a few years. It's a 6-piece, 4 toms. Single kick, but obviously I'm playing the trick pedals, and I like Sabians, and I like the mix of Sabians and Meinl cymbals until somebody wants to give me some fucking money to play them.
Yeah, no kidding,
Yeah.
man.
Nice.
Yeah.
Anyone you want us to tag?
That's all good. They if you're worth it, they'll come find you. So.
Oh,
I've
for
never been
sure.
that kind of guy. That's Rob. You got to if you want somebody to
Yeah.
slut some shit around there, that's the man for that. I just play the fucking drums, brother.
So how did you get into playing drums?
Oh man, I played guitar. I started playing guitar when I was like 7, something like that. Started doing lessons and shit. And I had a cousin who was in a band, and he played guitar too. He's a really ripping guitar player. And I watched his drummer. They were playing some, like Sepultura-esque stuff. And I'm watching their drummer, and I was like, that's what I want to fucking do. And then I met my buddy Marcos, who was also a guitar player, and he was in a band. We were young. We were 12, 13 years old. And their drummer was 10 or 11. One of my still to this day good friends, Greg. And they were fucking busting out like Mudvayne covers and shit. And I was just watching them, and like, it's like, God damn, like that's what I want to do. And I just fucking did it. I just saved up all the Christmas money and started mowing lawns and doing that sort of thing, and you know, hitting up dad here and there, like, come on, man. And went and bought a used
Nice.
kit and just started playing. And it was one of those things, like I always compare it to riding a bike. Like, remember when you first learned how to ride a bike, and then you wanted to get better at riding that bike, so then you started going off jumps, and then you're doing tricks and all that stuff. Like, that's kind of
Oh
how I
yeah.
compared it. It's like I just never stopped.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So your parents were cool with you having a set of drums?
Kinda. I mean, I didn't have a lot of what you would say parental oversight. Like, I was pretty wild as a kid. Just kind of latchkey kid. I played a
All
lot.
right.
I did play a lot of sports too, so that was like, I did good in school, played sports, and so they kind of let me get off the hook sometimes.
Right on.
Yeah.
That was the recipe for me too, man. Is it was like, just do your work at school. Like, whenever you're old enough, go to your job or whatever. Usually part-time gig that you get, to get you used to working. And if I did those things, my parents would not like. They wouldn't be on me about every other little thing. It was like I was taking care of what I was supposed to be taking care of, and so they didn't like harp on me. They didn't care I listened to heavy metal. It wasn't warping my brain. Obviously, I was doing good in school, and I've even told my kids, I'm like, just do your work. Like, just
get
do
it over. Just get it over with, so you can have fun.
Yeah,
Nobody wants to do it. Just do it till
yeah.
it's over.
And they'll be all like, "Oh," and I'm like, you're not the only one, man. And so it's so
This is a
different.
message to all the kids, because we know there's a whole bunch of kids listening to us right now. Go do your fucking homework.
Do your homework.
Practice your
Clean your room.
instrument.
Clean your room.
Then finish listening to the Metal Block Podcast with Mitch and Rob Calhoun from Wurm Flesh.
We're waiting.
Get it done.
Yep. Oh, that's too funny. But, there's still some truth to that. It was just like, just do your work, just take care of that. And then your parents were usually cool. I mean, like if you had normal parents, there's some people, I'm not talking about the parents that sucked. Forget those
Right.
parents.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the ones that actually, like looked after you, made sure there's food in the fridge. Latchkey kid. That's why I did so well in COVID, man. I was used to it. I was like, I'll just make a sandwich and wait for everybody to come home.
Yeah. Well, that was the best time after school, man. I had about 2 hours to myself. I could play the drums, dude, and I would. I just sat there and fucking played. So that's how I got good. That's how I got. Just didn't stop. Just like okay. And then that was after, and we're talking. That's after like football practice. That's after school and football practice. I'm just sitting at home by myself, like I'm gonna go fucking drill on the drums, And that's how I got good.
Heck yeah, man.
Yeah.
Might as well. I mean, it's funny. Les Claypool, one time in an interview, they asked him, they were like, how did you get so good at playing bass? And he was like, I practiced a lot, And he's like, I didn't just wake up and I could play bass. He's like, this was from 7 hours a day, like practicing the bass. And
Yeah.
I remember being a young bass player back then being like, oh, it takes that much. And man, if I could get like 4 or 5 hours of practice in, I was like, this is a good day. 7 hours was like next level, though.
That's a lot, yeah.
Man, yeah.
I can't do that, not anymore. I can. I always think I get about 3 hours of good, of good playing in. But like when you play, especially you're playing the higher tempos and all that shit, it's taxing, and you want to play it right, or you're gonna hurt yourself, and then you might as well just stop. Right? If you're hurting yourself, you might as well just stop. So
Yeah, no use
Yeah,
learning
yeah.
it wrong. Don't want to learn it wrong.
And you gotta have a minimum practice time, because I'm sure to get up to those tempos, like you gotta warm up, like not just stretch, but you kind of gotta get your muscles like moving, like.
I will say I'm notoriously horrible at that. I will just sit down and start playing at whatever. Let's just go. But,
You're able to just hit those tempos, like
yeah, man.
just like you can just wake up, climb out of bed, and just be like, all right, let's go.
Yeah, it's a
3:30, let's do it.
it's a for me it's like a wasted energy thing. It's like there's something to warming up, especially before a show or something, or something like that. But like I'll just blow myself out warming up because I'm ready to go. I'm just always ready to go.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, that's good for you, man.
Yeah,
Hey, I mean,
it works
what
for
you're
me.
doing-
I'm not saying that works for
Yes.
everybody. I've
I
watched
was gonna
guys
say,
warm up
like-
for like 4 hours and they're perfect on stage, and it's like
You remember though, Brando? We used to always say no practicing on show days. Like we weren't going to do it. I feel like
Yeah.
it was because we didn't want to like jinx ourselves in a way. It was like kind of our superstition was like, we got to be ready before. If we're not ready now, we're not ready.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Mitch, what you're doing is working, man. You guys sound awesome.
thank you, brother.
I know we're super excited to hear what you guys have coming out later this year, hopefully.
Yeah,
And,
hopefully by the end of the year we'll have another full album out.
Awesome. Is the EP from last year going to be a part of that album, or is it like separate songs?
Yeah, those are going to be on there, but there's probably 7 or 8 new ones. It depending on how everything works out,
Awesome.
because we do want to start doing write the songs, put the EP out. We can, because I've just seen a lot of bands do that over the years. It's like, yeah, of course we could just put a 7-song EP out, but we want to redo some of the stuff from that EP and reamp some of the guitars and stuff like that, and just kind of make it better. And expand on some ideas that we didn't expand on, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool, man.
I think we were talking about playing a song for this episode, and since we
I think we were.
kind of mentioned the EP and the new album that'll be coming out, maybe it's a good time to just go ahead and plug that in. Mitch, we talked about before, and I think we'll just stick with this song. I mean, the EP had 3 tracks on it, and it came out in 2024. Teratogenic Malformation.
Yes, sir.
Is what it's called. So, if you missed earlier in the episode, I kept tripping over the word a little bit. So, that time you just got to pause so I could think about what it was before I said it. But the track that we talked about was Viral Consumption. And I think, they're all solid tracks. I mean, we can't, Rob was like, pick your favorite. And I'm like, they're all pretty damn good, man. So let's just go with the one that we all talked about. So why don't we check it out right now? Viral Consumption by Wurm Flesh, brutal death metal, off of the EP Teratogenic Malformation. Man, that was good. It's a good song, man. We're always so excited though to have them, man, because it's a nice little break. And whenever I'm putting this into the episode after everything's all said and done, the cool part for me is I make it like it's a music video. I know it's not, but remember back in the old MTV days where you had the band name in the corner with the album and the record label that they're on,
Oh, yeah.
That's what I put in the thing, and I love doing it, man. It just
Oh, yeah.
it reminds me. So I love doing the song.
Old MTV days. What's that? You mean Road Rules and
Road Rules, yeah.
and
Oh.
The Real World.
Yeah, spot on, Brando. Spot on. That's
He
it.
means
Yeah,
when
man.
they actually played music videos.
They used to play music.
So, okay, MTV break right now, because what happened was is they like MTV was awesome, and then they started playing all the reality shows. And I'm not saying it wasn't awesome. There were a few funny things that they put out, but the music was gone, which wasn't awesome, except like little blocks here and there. And then they came out with, you guys remember, MTV2, and MTV2 did nothing but play what? Music videos for, I don't know, a few years, until they started playing reality TV too. It was just a
Full
total.
disclosure. I know that they did used to play music. I was kidding.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. But they don't anymore, and
No.
that is truth. So you know, I like making my own music videos in our podcast of y'all's videos or of y'all's songs. So thanks
awesome.
for letting us play it, man. And
Fuck yeah,
everybody
dude.
out there, man, we're really excited that you got a chance to check it out. Oh, like, really, what we want from this is we want you to go listen to Wurm Flesh. Like, we want you to go check out what they've got, you know, on their most recent EP. Those 3 tracks. Go ahead and go back to 2018 whenever they put the album out, and then be ready for the end of the year whenever they're going to have new stuff put out. Did you guys say you were going to be putting out singles along the way, or are you just all at once kind of packaging it together?
It kind of depends on the label too. Like, I'm always cool with that. It's like, you know, just little snippets. But you know, putting the whole album out doesn't bother me. It just fucking listen to it.
You know, I will say that, like, and I like it when bands do it both ways too, just because whenever they put the music out, I get to hear the new music, and so it's great. And on the flip side, whenever they don't, it's like the old days, right? I had to wait for it to come out,
Yeah.
you know? And no problem. It's always exciting. You get 10 new songs, 12 new songs to listen to whenever you do it that way, instead of just like 1 or 2, because
And you're not tired of any of them.
Yeah.
When the album comes out.
Yeah, I mean, you know, you haven't like just listened to these 1 or 2 songs over and over again, and then the album comes out, and you know, like, oh, I've already heard that song.
Right,
You know?
yeah.
You don't even have that, like, that, I don't know, just little temptation to skip the track, you know.
Right.
One thing I enjoy about listening to music, and I don't know if a lot of people do. I think with streaming, it's probably went away. But we used to put the album in, and we'd listen to the whole damn thing, man.
Oh no, that's what I want all the time. That's what I try to do anyway. You know, especially bands that I like Cytotoxin. They just put out a fucking killer album, but they put it out track by track by track, and I'm just like, come on, dude, stop fucking with this nut. You know?
Right?
Yeah, I just want to hear the whole thing together. I know it's going to be great, you know. So just
that was a great album.
It is. It's
Or
fucking
it is a
dope.
great
Yeah,
album.
it really is.
Yeah. And did you go see them when they came through?
No, they didn't come close to California. They didn't even, not even close. So like the closest state was Texas, I think.
Boo,
So it's like-
Texas.
They didn't come out there, man.
I could, yeah, it's like I could, but that's a lot. That's a lot. We get, dude, we have
Bummer.
in California, we get so many good tours. It's like I fucking all right, you know, like I'm
You
going.
do.
Yeah.
You know, one of the ones in particular that I wish they'd played more dates because it was that farewell thing. I wanted to see. Everyone says it differently. I think you know Nazem or Nazem, and they did like 2 shows. It was a long time
really?
ago, and I think the vocalist from Rotten Sound did
Mhm.
vocals for him. And there's even a documentary about it. But they played like 2 days in California, like in LA or something. They did 2
Oh,
different
really?
dates, like back to back, and you know, traveling in California was hard for me to do at the time, but like, man, I wish I could have done that. And
Yeah.
anyway,
It's always a heartbreaker when you know, like it's just a one and done, or a 2, 3, 4 and done, or they'll go to like they'll play L.A. and then they'll play somewhere in the Midwest and then they play in New York, or they'll play Miami, or you know somewhere in Florida, and then that's it for the whole U.S. tour. Especially a lot of I get it though, a lot of the European bands, it's hard to fucking kick around here for a month, you know.
yeah. hmm And then,
Especially now,
sure.
I mean,
Yeah.
you know, prices are expensive. There's really a whole lot of uncertainty. I mean, every other country outside of here is like afraid to come here right now. I mean,
Yeah, I
and
get
there's
it.
like travel advisories and all sorts of stuff. So, I mean, I totally get it. Unless you're somewhere where you're just in a really bad spot, you know. I mean, coming to the United States isn't always the easiest place to go, especially
Yeah.
for metal bands who they're not cranking out billions of dollars anyway. So,
Oh.
you know, if Taylor Swift, I broke a rule, Brandon. If she would, if she would just send the metal community like I don't know some money.
For your first listeners of the final episode of the Metal Block.
Oh,
That
no.
was, you know, so that was
It was a
actually
pleasure, boys.
it was a total accident, but that was actually one of my rules whenever I created the show, and I broke my own rule. So
No, bringing up
Sorry.
T Swift, huh?
yeah, there was that. That was just you couldn't do
I
it.
don't even remember why that was a rule. I think it was a joke rule. Why would she come up? But here we go.
Episode 46. That's what it was for, man. So
There you go.
you know, man, this has been a lot of fun. I know it's starting to get a little bit late, man. We appreciate you letting us play the track. We appreciate you coming and just hanging with us and even sticking around just a little bit longer and talking about some drums and giving us an idea of a little bit more about what Wurm Flesh has got going on. Like I said in the beginning, I'm going to talk in circles if I talk too long about it. But man, like I was really, really happy whenever I was listening to the EP that you guys put out. I mean, like I said, I drew some Dying Fetus from that. The technicality in the death metal was there. And, you know, the one good thing about it, and this is an absolute compliment, is it wasn't music that was hard for me to listen to either, as far as like, yes, there was the technicality, and it had like maybe the themes in it, the right themes in it that just like kept me glued. Sometimes we listen to music and I don't even like it was great. All the musicians were amazing, and I think this is to what you guys were talking to earlier about like the composition and the structure and making it something that whenever you guys come together, you can make it something that is listenable. And I think that's probably the word that I was really trying to get to all along is listenable. Like there's the skill in it, there's the brutality in it, it's got the death metal foundations, you've got the influences from some of the greats, but I can also sit and enjoy and listen to it, and it's new and refreshing too. So it's like all of these things kind of packaged together in a way that for me just, you know, hit all the marks. And I really, really enjoy getting the chance to have you guys on the episode. I was really excited about it. Still am excited about it. You know, it's not out yet. It's to be put out. So I can't wait to go through the editing and, you know, laugh, because that's what always happens. I'm always like laughing at what all we were talking about. But all this long rambling just to say, man, thanks. You know, it's been a blast.
Thank you. Yeah,
and,
thank you guys.
And we want you guys to come back anytime. Like maybe
yeah.
after you get the album and stuff going, you know,
Yeah, that'd be
you
great.
come back
That'd be
and talk
great,
about
man.
the album some, man. That would just be amazing.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Hell yeah.
And,
So,
and thank you for the nice words, man. I really appreciate it because we work hard on this shit. So I'm
Yeah.
glad somebody likes it, you know.
yeah, man, most definitely. And I think the fans would really, really like that too. The other people that listen to the podcast, I mean, this fits right into the style of music that we're always, you know, talking about and going over. And so, yeah, man, couldn't say any more great things because I'm just, you know, being a fanboy at this point, but it's cool. That's why I do the show too, is to be a fan, you know.
Yeah, no, we really appreciate it, man, because there's not a lot of guys doing it, you know. Like there's guys out there doing it, but they're just talking to the guys we already know. We already know their story, so it's kind of cool to you guys are giving the small folk a
Well, you know, like, and for us, man, like, it's about just, you know, getting to know the band a little bit better and getting to know the guys in the band, because, you know, growing up, a lot of times it was hard to even know who these people were that were playing this great music. Nowadays, it's a little bit easier because you can see their faces more. Social media is out there, and you can find out what's going on so easily. And you're up to date and you're current, but still, you know, bottom line is I like feeling a personal connection with the music. Like music to me is more than just outside, you know, it's inside too. And so, that's one of the things I gained. That's one of the purposes of the podcast too, you know, for us is to, you know, get to know you guys, for other people to get to know you guys, because the cool thing about a metal show is whenever they can come out and say what's up at the end of the show.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
you know,
I agree.
They're not afraid to come and talk to you because, you know,
We're all fucking people, man. That's,
yeah.
honestly, meeting my heroes over the years, like, you know, meeting George Callias and, you know, those kind of people, it's like, yeah, they're fucking just regular ass dudes. Like, they just want to chill after their set and have a beer, you know. And, you know, some of them are less friendly than others, but, you know, I get that too, because, you know, they're people. They're on tour. They've been fucking playing 30 days in a row, and, you know, they're sweaty and smelly, and they just want to fucking go to bed.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was exhausting, you know?
Yeah, it's so tiring. So it's like, I get it. If a musician is like, you know, kind of shines you on, you know, it's like, can't take it personally, man.
No, not at all.
No.
You're absolutely right, and not to mention.
But I would never do that.
Wurm Flesh doesn't do that, guys. You guys,
we would never.
You guys go up, meet them at the merch table, hang out with them a little bit, spend some
yeah.
moolah, and you know,
yeah.
just support the bands out there. That's what it's about. So, man, thanks again for coming, Brando. I don't have anything left, man.
I don't believe you. Mitch, thanks so much, man. It's been a blast hanging out with you, and Rob was a blast too while he was able to be on. So just thanks to you and him, and thanks to Robbie from Viscera Disgust Media for helping put this together. That dude's out of this world, man. He's hustling for you guys, and a lot.
He's
of
a good
band,
dude.
You know,
he's a good dude. Yeah,
and a lot of this. You know, you don't think about most people listening to the music don't think about the guys like Robbie, and they're doing that kind of stuff, man, and making a lot of this stuff happen, and getting these bands that we all love, and you guys, like, you know, like getting your stuff out in front of them, and like it happens sometimes because of people like that, you know,
for
pushing
sure.
it. So, you know, thanks to him. And just. Hopefully we can have you guys on again soon sometime.
Yeah, that'd be great, man. Fucking, it's been a blast.
Well, yes,
Awesome.
It has, man. Just a fun night. We can't thank you enough. And, man, with nothing left to say, Metal Block, over and out.